Oh, hello there. Hey, everybody. Welcome in the B team on Jack Rabbit Illustrated. We appreciate each and every one of you joining us today. As always, I'm joined by Ben and Chad, the BBC, as we like to call ourselves. We appreciate everybody making us part of your day. Big shout out to Kubota Dealers of South Dakota with 9 locations across the great state of South Dakota. There's always a Kubota dealer near you to get yourself into some high-quality equipment to take care of, say, a snowstorm this weekend. Because let me tell you, I would have loved to have been in a Kubota this weekend instead of walking in just coated in that light snow that blew back in my face every time I tried to blow it anywhere. Kubota Dealers of South Dakota, they've got parts, they've got service for when you for after you buy your Kubota equipment for yourselves. So get yourselves into some orange equipment today. Thank you to Kubota Dealers of South Dakota for being our title sponsors at Jackrabbit Illustrated. And, of course, our show sponsor, the OGs, who've been with us the longest. We have Culver's of Brookings and Watertown. We're a better brand of beef, makes a butter burger better. Culver's, welcome to Delicious. They are the place to go. Get yourself a butter burger. Get yourself some frozen custard when you're in Brookings and Watertown, and get yourself the goddamn fries with some beer cheese sauce, please. That's the way to go. I am telling you, it is the truth and the light. You can even, and I'm telling you, dip the cheese curds in the cheese and get yourself a real experience. I'm pretty sure that's how you gain like enlightenment and see out your third eye and stuff is you do that. I started to exist on a whole nother plane after I did that.
Love it. Yeah, fun weekend of snow, and what a blast at the game. I completely understand the people that did not want to go out on the roads because they did suck. They weren't good. But
they were fine from Sioux Falls to I-29 was just fine.
It depended where you're coming from. But I mean, and the thing is, like, people were just assuming the roads are going to be bad too. And so,
yeah.
I mean,
that's a big factor.
And the fact, we talked about how, like, SDSU hasn't played on Thanksgiving weekend in a long time. So people made plans. So don't blame him at all. Still got just about almost 4,000 people there. And for the stupid Grizz fans that are like, oh, geez, only 4,000 people there. Brookings is like a fifth of the size of Missoula. People have to drive to get to the games. And it's just different. You can't, it's not apples to apples. So
I just don't care.
I don't either. It was a blast either way. So
like I would love for our playoff games to all be sold out for sure.
Sure.
But at this point, eventually people will make it a priority to make it to the games and everything else. Until then, I'm going to have a gas every time I'm there. I'm just going to have fun because they're always my favorite games to be at. And it's a dead horse. I'm tired of beating it. I'm not. I've explained enough. We've explained enough times to the Montana fans that at this point they're just trolling. So I'm not going to waste my breath with them.
Right.
And I had a blast. And guess what? The number of fans you have at your home playoff games does not win you a national title. Ask Montana.
Hey, but Ben has a very good point. Like, a lot of us had zero plan to be playing this last weekend. I went down to Lincoln, watched Gronowski play, and I thought that was going to screw up the whole thing, but I was able to make both. And ooh, that looks pulpy. That looks like some good orange juice you got there,
God,
sir.
there's so much goddamn pulp in it. So much pulp. Ariel wasn't looking when she grabbed orange juice for me. She was just looking for not from concentrate. It was for recipe.
And best orange juice ever.
It is not just with pulp. I don't mind with pulp. Never in my ever have I thought I was going to buy lots of pulp, because if I want to eat an orange, I'll eat an orange. And instead, this is like a weird, it's basically a fruit smoothie.
It's like a meal.
Does it take you back to your times when you were playing soccer as a kid and got the wedges?
No, I did play soccer, but not old enough to get the orange wedges.
Oh, okay.
I was moved on to hockey and football by that point. We This will surprise you, but in rural northern Wisconsin, where there's a population density of less than a person per square mile, soccer, not super big.
Right.
Not the snob sport of the area.
Yeah, they just wanted me doing something, when I was little. And football wasn't an option until I got to middle school. So
back to the game. I did want to shout out the Pride. Thank you to the Pride for showing up and showing out. It was awesome to have them there. They make a difference, and it's just, I can't thank them enough. And the students that showed out, appreciate you guys, and the crazy ones that were wearing no shirt the whole game. I don't know how you do it. I couldn't do it, but kudos to you.
So dead serious, I almost thought of putting it up where someone donated like $600 to Chase for the Alex's Lemonade stand. I'd have gone shirtless for the game.
You should have. That would have been fun to see.
I think that money would have been found. Sorry.
Yeah, I hope not.
Go ahead.
I don't look that good with my shirt off. We don't need to.
Yeah.
Besides, then you wouldn't have got the invite. They'd be like, no, keep your shirtless A on the other side of the
right, you lunatic. You stay out. You get out of here, you madman.
Some people say whiskey's how you make that happen, and I would say that would help.
Probably would have been the main strategy in that situation, because I've done it before. I've gone in a kilt painted blue and yellow before with Minotaur for Kyle Manette painted across my back. But
I've seen pictures.
Yeah. Back when I was in shape, it was a maneuver that was worthwhile. I don't know about today.
The Rev says that if Brendan donates $600, he'll go shirtless for the SFA game this weekend.
You're in Texas, so you'll be in the shirtless in the mid to high 40s. Oh my God.
Yeah, a little different.
Speaking of Rev, I'm sending him a picture I want him to know I'm sending him a picture right now for what I want him to do in Frisco if Stephen F. Austin doesn't make it.
One other housekeeping note, shout out to ESPN for that feature they did. That was really, really cool, really well done. And with the kind of the icing on the cake with the comeback win or the walk-off win at UND, that was well done. We give ESPN crap a lot, but they did a good job with that one.
Yes. While we're giving shout-outs to non-football members, but big support members, shout out to the Shovel Boys and the guys that took care of the field. They had to have been sweating. 53 yards is no joke to run and shovel continuously for 3 hours and keep the lines clean. So shout out to those cats.
Yeah, they were doing work. But so to the game, obviously the big story is Chase Mason. Man, he looked good. Just can't say enough about just how crisp and clean his passes were, and in the elements that were out there. It's incredible. And like the New Hampshire coach said, that's an NFL talent arm for sure. And it's just good to have him back. Like, obviously Jack Henry did good in replacing him, but it's just different with him in there. Everything rolls better, and I clipped a bunch of third down plays, but he just makes such a difference. And it's the effect that we used to have with Gronowski when we would get into like third and long, and especially with the Yankees, and we were like, well, it's not a big deal, they're going to convert it. And you have that same effect and confidence with Chase in there, I feel like, where you kind of feel like, well, he's going to read the field, he's going to make a throw, and we're going to convert it. So, I mean, it's just huge having him in there, and just a huge, huge difference.
Yeah, you do have. Oh, go ahead, Chad.
I was just going to say, dude's got a gun for an arm, and that there's no doubt about how fast it comes up.
He's got the soundboard. He's got the soundboard. No, what I was going to say is, just listening to some pods across the country here so far this week that have come out. For the people who haven't watched a lot of Chase, there was, and maybe just caught highlights of the game or whatever, kind of had the idea that he really was only doing short passes, and how's he going to handle having better footing and planting off his back foot to throw. Right. And it's like, yeah, the arm talent is underappreciated in those statements that he has. But I'm most impressed with this year, just his ability on the intermediate routes to go through his reads and hit those intermediate routes when defenses are trying to stop you from taking the top off. He's been phenomenal all year on it. If you look at the stats for SDSU on the season and you go, oh, they got 11 interceptions. It's like, yeah, but 2 of them, I think, are from Chase. The rest, was when he wasn't playing. So some of those things being skewed, but just the bounce that he brought to the team. And I think you can attribute that to Chase being back, but you also attribute that to the weight being off the shoulders of the of making the playoffs and the expectations that there is with the program and being a Jackrabbit and putting on that uniform with what comes with that now and what the expectation is. And you could just tell that weight of making the playoffs was off their shoulders, and they were having fun playing football, and that was so huge. And I think it's going to mean a lot going into this week.
Yeah, and honestly, I mean, if you think back, they haven't. I don't know. This team hasn't looked like they were having that much fun since, I don't know, maybe when they were beating up on Mercyhurst or something.
They look tight.
Yeah, they looked tight for a long time. Maybe I suppose against UNI they probably had some fun. Murray State too, but ever since getting beat by NDSU, they've looked really tight in every single game since then. And yeah, like you said, it was just, you could tell the body language was absolutely different. And it was really cool to see. Another huge difference I think we're seeing is the offensive line is just playing very, very well. And, obviously it helps having Chase back because the defenses have to account for his arm a little more. But I think that even without that, you can tell, and in the UND game, you could see it too, that the offensive line just looks different. And shout out to Nate Adams moving into center, and he's been huge, no pun intended, but he just has looked really good, and it's made the offensive line look different, and it's made a big, big difference in the way that the running game has looked.
Yeah, I think putting someone as veteran as him at center, who's played as many years as he has, all conference caliber player. There's a lot of responsibility on the center. He's the quarterback of the O-line, and just that experience, I think, leads to a little bit better push up the middle and everything and because he's not thinking as much, he's just playing. Whereas, maybe Willenbring was thinking a little more and playing at guard. He's able to, for now, utilize his athleticism and his talent and not have to think so much, and he can just block. And I mean, when players are thinking, you're not playing fast. And then that, especially at center, that D tackle is into you right now. There's no thinking around that. So I think that was super, super important. It's been night and day, and some of it too is, play calling a little bit, I think, because they've adjusted to what we have as well. Which, you can say, I wish we did. I wish they did, they did now. And that's what counts, because you're in the playoffs, and the only thing that matters now is the game ahead of you, and they are playing at their peak right now. And that is such a good sign going forwards here, going into this game in a hostile environment, because, if you are able to run with the volume that they've ran the last 2 games of 30, 40 or 40 rushes or 50 rushes, whatever, and putting up 200 yards rushing, you want to suck the energy out of a stadium. You just pound that down the field 2-3 drives, and then have your quarterback hit some big throws when it doesn't get you into really favorable third down positioning, and it just sucks the life right out of a stadium. And that's going to be important because that place is going to be a rocking.
100%. I mean, you look at the formula of when we won the championship. Yeah, Mark Gronowski was good, but man, we were running the ball, and teams just couldn't stop it, and they didn't know what to do. They were like, "Do we commit, 8-9 guys to the box? And if we do, we're screwed." And you're going to see that the same thing with Chase. And I think that it'll be interesting to see what teams do now that our running game is looking better, because I think that's one thing. As when we were 7-0. We kind of saw the chinks in the armor, and that, still, our run game still doesn't look that great. It's looking good now. And I mean, they showed it against UND, who is a very good run defense. And so, I mean, that's huge heading into this playoff run here. And I think, I think the A team mentioned, whether Loffridge was injured or he had some confidence issues or what, but the guy just looks different. He looks like he did in the first 2 games of the year, and he's playing really, really well right now. Shout out to him for crossing 1,000 yards, and I think last week he crossed 4,000 for his career, which is cool. And then you got Johnson and Basinger continuing to improve, and then Blair coming back. When you got 4 guys you can roll in there and keep them fresh, it makes it tough on teams. And I think that just bodes well for this playoff run here. It's going to be tough to stop this offense, I think, with Chase in there for sure.
Yep, getting healthy and peaking at the right time, because like Alex Bullock, he's been really big ever since Ogroski went out and has been great. But unlocking Graham Goring these last couple games, and not that he's played bad the whole season, but like these last 2 games, he has been a stud. And having those 2 threats plus Kuntz back there or in the games now and utilizing the tight ends more has really, really made this offense dangerous. Just with the way this team's playing, the way they seem to be peaking, I don't think you can really season-wise look back at the whole season and get a real grasp of what this team is right now. They're playing at a different level at the moment. And granted, I get it. It was New Hampshire, but they also did it up in Fargo, or not up in Fargo, up in Grand Forks with Jack Henry in there, who he's not bad, but he's not Chase yet. He's got time. He's a young buck. He's got time to grow into that. But I mean, you put Chase up there in Grand Forks with the way they ran the ball. Boy, that offense would have really been miserable for him up there. So I think overall, offensively, they're really peaking.
Yeah, I mean, you look back and you're like, man, what if Chase was healthy the whole year? Do we go 11-1? We're sitting at the 2 seed or whatever. And I mean, at this point, it doesn't really matter. The point is, like you said, we're playing the best ball that we have at the right time. I think even in the 7-0 run, even against Montana State, I think that this team is playing better than they have all year. And so it's credit to the coaching staff. I mean, they played the long game, and they waited to get Chase back in there, and we'll see. It might work out. We might go on a run here, and obviously I don't know if it was even an option to play him earlier or not, but it's awesome to have him back, and it's awesome to see the confidence the team has. You mentioned the receivers. The one huge thing we have right now is Jack Smith. He's not a young, green freshman anymore. He's got a lot of games under his belt now. And, obviously it still stinks not having Ogroski, but you get a guy like Jack Smith up to speed. Okay, now we're talking again with this receiving core, and Graham Goring playing the best he ever has in an SDSU jersey. I mean, is his whole career he hasn't played this well. So he's got really high confidence right now. And then Alex Bullock with the consistency. I mean, couldn't say anything better about the offense. We should touch before I go past the offense. I do want to see more of the slingshot play with Coleman Kuntz. Did you see that where he like grabbed Loffridge and
That
tossed
was
him forward?
Right.
That was amazing.
He whipped him so hard I wasn't sure he was going to keep his footing, and then he just popped out the other side.
That was good.
And Jack Smith, what a freaking, that dude's a total Swiss Army knife. I mean, we can utilize him in so many ways too. So it's excellent to have that guy up to speed.
Yeah, for sure. He's a legit weapon. And then the defense too. I thought the defense looked like they were playing really confident, flying around. I think at times they, in the 4 games that we lost, they looked a little tentative and hesitant at times. I don't know if they, were thinking, man, we better not mess up because we don't have, Chase at quarterback to make up for our mistakes or what. But I think that they played very confident and looked really good, especially the defensive line. It's definitely not as deep as we have had in the past, but the guys that are in there for the most of the game are very, very good. I love watching Logan Green play. He's not going to fill up a stat sheet, but man, that guy is a beast and like a problem for offensive lines. Like he just throws people around. He's just like he's farmer strong, man. That guy, you get him and then you get Claiborne just running around like a wild man. They're really fun to watch. It'll be great to have McShane back. Sounds like he'll be back. Bryce Johnson's looked good in linebacker. So yeah, defense is playing better. Couldn't ask for more right now.
Well, and I think because there were some games where like the time of possession wasn't massively lopsided in a bunch of these games in that 4 game stretch, and but I think just the defense can play loose because they're confident the offense is going to put up points, and so they're just flying around the field, and it makes a huge difference, without having to feel like you have to pitch a shutout, maybe, because as happy as we were with Jack Henry as he progressed, the cold facts is the offense was averaging something in the teens until the UND game. So I think that's a big difference. And you spoke on how like even in the early games when we were 7-0, like this offense didn't look incredible.
No,
I mean it was passable. It was doing well. I think they're still averaging 35 points a game or something. But if you're a Montana fan and you watched that Montana State game, I don't blame you for not being like, well, this isn't a scary offense, because we forget it was 17-17 at the end of that game. We only put up 17 points. We weren't exactly a juggernaut.
The defense won that game.
Yeah, granted, Montana State has a great defense too. So, you got to credit the other team on the field, but the Hogs, and I think Seth Meyer said earlier, that the team having kind of forced development while Chase was gone, and having, other parts of the team, stepping up eventually with the North Dakota game and finding themselves, I think can really pay dividends. And I think you're seeing that because the UND game, I think holistically, the team was far better than even some of the games when Chase was there, where Chase was covering a lot of warts. So now you're adding Chase to a much better mix of a drink to throw down, and it's really nice.
100%. I mean, all the injuries have been really hard to deal with, and made that, really that 4-game stretch was, I think you can attribute it largely to injuries. But what it did was it got a lot of guys reps. And, I think Coach Jackson talks about how much a game rep is worth compared to practice rep. And I think you're seeing that now. I think we're a lot deeper now than we were at the start of the year. We talked about all the new guys we had and all the gelling they needed to do. And they've done that throughout this year. They've gone through hard times. And I think, I think they're really set up really well to make a nice run in the playoffs here. And couldn't be more confident about where they're at heading into Montana.
We remember, the championship run of 2022. we played something like 22 different defensive starters throughout the year, and then they started getting healthy as the playoffs hit, and then they were just a monster to deal with. And I think the team overall is slowly getting healthier. Now, you're not going to get everybody back, but it's obvious they're getting healthier, and that's playing huge dividends.
Yeah, it would seem even like Juice maybe was dinged up because he found a whole nother gear this last two games, really.
Yep.
Carter Nold brought up Jace Cyfor. He's been an absolute monster, getting better and better every game. We can fill in and we can bounce Claiborne outside. Dude's been an animal just like Logan Green. So a couple other people have brought him up. So just wanted to mention that dude's really come on, and it's great to have that depth, like you're saying, Brendan.
Well, you're right, because that was something that wasn't talked about when, the everybody's talking about all the injuries. You're talking about, Van Tol, and you're talking about Chase, and you're talking about Ogroski. Nobody talked about how dinged up the interior D line was. And they weren't able to rotate like they wanted to, and you're playing Kobe out of position, or you're having to play Kobe and Logan Green and Ripperda all the time, and not being able to rest them and keep them at that high end, and getting that depth back is just so huge, especially on the defense, and they're going to need it against Montana. Quickly, I'll mention our sponsor for that segment, Cubby's Sports Bar and Grill in downtown Brookings, the best South sports bar in the Dakotas. It is for sure the most renowned. I believe it's the best. No more rooftop patio anymore with the snow flying, I do not believe, but they are still the place to go. If you're looking for a place to watch the Jacks game, head on down to Cubby Sports Bar and Grill. It will be the premier place to watch the Jacks play. I think that's pretty much a universal truth that's been known, but if you can get down there, get yourself a jacked up game day burger from our other partners, Hadrick's Ranch, that are supplying the beef there. Beautiful marriage of sponsors there to get the jacked up game day burger, or get yourself some nachos, get yourself, the Chislik, get yourself the beer that they've got on tap. I mean, it is just an excellent place to go. They will treat you right. Head down to Cubby Sports Bar and Grill and catch the game. And just a selfish plug for Jackrabbit Illustrated. If you go to jackrabbitillustrated.com and you live far away from Cubby's, check out the Jackrabbit Illustrated Bar Network that we put together last year. Always looking to add more. So if you know of a place that bar or anything in your neck of the woods that has always got the Jacks games on, kick them our way so we can put our name on that list so Jacks fans know where to go to watch the game if they can't watch. And Raphael asks, apologies, what is SMDMM? That's Scared Money Don't Make Money. That's our Wednesday. That's our normally Wednesday show. Will be on Thursday this week. So anyway.
Somebody asked about us asking the Fight on Montana guys. I believe we have reached out to one of them.
Somebody.
Yeah.
Somebody.
We're gonna have somebody.
Solid.
We're gonna have somebody from the Montana area on the podcast on
Montana Sphere. We will have.
We could have had someone on tonight if we would have probably thought about it a little earlier, but we could have done a couple different people. But oh well.
I keep bringing it up, trying to get Marty Morningwig on there, and I think I'm the only one who remembers him. For whatever reason, his name's stuck in my head as a child watching the NFL forever.
Nobody
and every time I bring him up, huh?
You could have contacted him.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Is I'm dropping the ball here. This is not anybody else. This is a me thing. This is a me problem. This is nobody else's problem because I bring it up and I don't make anything happen. But
the worst you get is no response or a no.
Right. I mean, I've tried with like the Pat McAfee show before. Like I'm not averse to throwing it out there. I don't know. I bring it up and then I forget, and I just need to do it right away when I bring it up. I'm an idiot, but we will have a guest from the Montana sphere of influence.
I agree. Ree says it's your problem.
Always. I have so many problems.
She can probably help you identify some more.
That's right. You know the downfall of Ben and Ree together is she's got to be walking away being like going to Ben like, he's got this and probably this, and God, he really needs to face this, and boy, he should talk to somebody about this.
No.
That's why we have your rants. It's your own therapy session here.
Yeah, that's my therapy session. I have a rant for tonight.
Yeah. What should we do next? Should we go over the take a look at the bracket quick? I don't know if you got that up, Chad.
I don't.
No, it's fine. While you're waiting, how about that Youngstown State collapse? I cannot believe it. They were up 35-7 with the Walter Payton Award winner at quarterback at half.
They're up
35-7.
They're up 42-14 with like 4 minutes left in the third quarter.
That's wild. I just don't understand how it happened.
To be fair,
yeah,
we can't talk too much.
I mean,
we are going to the place that is the. But that was at home for Youngstown State. That's what's even worse. Like, they're at home.
I mean, we do have what we did against Illinois State. So
yeah, there's also that. But for it to happen in the first round of the playoffs at home, it was just wild. But you had Illinois State taking care of business against Southeastern Louisiana. They go to the Slaughterhouse up in Fargo. Good luck with that. Chad, if you want to zoom in a little bit there.
I'm working on it. My computer is not cooperating right now.
You're fine.
I think that'll be an easy one for Polasek to be able to pound home the point of being locked in after how Illinois State gave him a fight through the third quarter. So I don't see much hope for the Redbirds in that one.
Yeah, I would think there's no chance that they're not going to take them seriously after the way they played against them. You had Rhode Island. They looked really good early, but they made it more interesting than it needed to be against Central Connecticut. Only winning 27-19. They go to UC Davis. I'll be really interested in that game to see if Rhode Island can go all the way across the country and give UC Davis a game. This is a chance for UC Davis to prove they deserve that 8 seed. Everybody thinks they didn't, but they'll have a real chance here. So
right.
Then you had Villanova. That was an impressive win against Harvard, and what a stinker of a game from Harvard, losing 52-7.
Brutal,
man. And thank God Yale did what they did against Youngstown State, because the way it looked at halftime, it was like, oh my God, the Ivy League is a joke. Nobody's ever going to take them seriously again. So what?
On one hand, I would have been a little bummed, but on the other hand, I would have really enjoyed the putting the Ivies in their place, because there's so many people that beat the drum that like Harvard could have won national titles in these years, and they're all East Coast yahoos. You're like, come on, dude. They're pretty good some years, I do believe that, but they're not there yet.
The whole Ivy League should be thanking Yale and sending them Christmas gifts, because they did a ton for the reputation of the Ivy League.
God, if they'd have both gotten pumped like that, the reaction from the football support side of things and admin and funding wise would have been interesting to watch with the Ivies.
Man, what if they would have just pulled back out of the playoffs?
No,
we're good. We're good.
Nope. You know what? Never mind. We're good. We don't. That wasn't fun at all. Why do you guys like this? This is awful.
This is no fun. Do you think
taking it into consideration, and it's best for our athletes to focus on academics?
No, it has spoiled my wine and cheese hour, by God.
And also the CAA should be sending Villanova Christmas gifts too. Villanova's carrying the way for the CAA. What are your thoughts against them and against Lehigh? Do you think Lehigh is going to hold serve or no?
Really interested in this game. I do think Lehigh is good, but also so far the teams from your non-power conferences of the FCS that have been good have either laid an egg, like Tennessee Tech turning the ball over 6 times to North Dakota, or Harvard getting pumped by Villanova. So it hasn't been great showings from those teams yet that we were kind of excited to see. So I'm curious. I'm kind of leaning on the pattern, however, of when a team like Villanova is supposed to have a tough game and then they destroy them and they go in and everybody's like, oh, well, they scored 50 points last game. They're going to win against Lehigh. Then Lehigh's going to dump truck them by like 30. Like I got a weird feeling Nova might come into this little overconfident, feeling like they're proven right about their CAA feelings towards Harvard, and they're going to have the same feelings towards a Patriot League team. So I will be watching that. I'm really glad I got the TVs that I got in the shop to throw on as many games as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be really interesting. I mean, that's a Lehigh team that beat Yale 31-13 earlier this year.
Right.
And so I don't think they're a joke. I think their offense is really, really good. So I'll be interested to see how that one goes. UND. Go ahead.
I do see the comments from our buddy ROT saying these conferences are trash, and I see these comments. You know what? I'll save them. I'm going to save that. We're going to have a timer on that. We'll talk. I don't need to interrupt the bracket, but we'll talk about. We're going to have a conversation about that.
Okay, when we finish the bracket, we'll talk about that before we preview Montana.
Chad, you're on mute.
Yeah, that's fine.
You mentioned UND taking care of Tennessee Tech. Tennessee Tech was thinking they should have got a higher seed. Don't have much of an argument anymore for that.
That game for Tennessee Tech was like an at-home version of our game against JMU.
Yeah.
You just can't keep the ball in your own hands. You hang in there despite all those turnovers, but eventually your defense wears down and gives up a bunch of points. And
did they have 10 turnovers? Because I think we had 10.
We had 10. I don't think they quite had 10. But thank you for bringing that back to the forefront of our minds, Scott. We really appreciate
you're the one that did it.
I was vaguely. I didn't bring up the exact number.
But so UND goes to Tarleton State now, and may or may not have Kaminsky at quarterback. He's in the concussion protocol. I would be surprised if UND goes down there and wins. I think Tarleton will take care of business. But
yeah, I'm in that boat as well.
Hard to argue.
UND does have the advantage that they have Romfro, who used to start for them before Kaminsky. But even then, I wouldn't want to be going to Tarleton with a backup. With no offense to Romfro, he was not great, and Kaminsky hasn't been All-American, but he's been better than Romfro was, and I would not feel comfortable going into that game if I was them. But there's room. He's in concussion protocol, and they did say he's looking pretty good so far. He's got other hurdles to come back from, but it sounds like they're either playing the game and playing like he's going to come back, or there's actually a chance he'll come back and play.
Yep, and then we had USD taking care of Drake, 38-17. But at halftime, that game was still in question. Obviously, they did what they needed to do in the second half, took care of business, but they're not going to be able to play around like that against Mercer. Mercer's a very good team, and this is another game that I'll be very interested to watch, obviously, because if we win, it'll determine who we play. But it'll be real interesting to see what they can do on the road down at Mercer.
Yeah, no, that's a big one for the SoCon and for Mercer. Mercer feels a little bit Furman-esque from when they went out to Montana and gave them all that they could handle there. A little more offensively geared than that Furman team was. I think they're capable of potentially making a bit of a track meet, which USD does not want to have. So it's going to be an interesting watch. I lean Mercer, but I would not be shocked if USD wins that game.
Yep, and then we had Abilene Christian taking care of Lamar, 38-20, and they go to Stephen F. Austin. This will be another very interesting game. I am not sure which way I'm going to go on this one yet.
Yeah, it's a rematch, right? And a rematch of a game that Stephen F. Austin, our old pal the Rev, his team had it in hand, and then they kind of pissed down their leg against Abilene Christian in that one. And it's going to be a tough one to predict to me. I'd lean SFA just because they're home, and if I'm Abilene Christian, I'm not sure I'd want to try to beat them twice. That'd be unfortunate. But also, it is the Grimace Championship game. All Abilene Christian does is beat ranked opponents, so who knows?
I tried to say it was a Grimace Championship game. Joe said no, but he said that they already determined that in the regular season. But
yeah, I don't understand. How does that work? Like,
I don't know. I think it's like fantasy football where you got a regular season champion and then you got a playoff champion, and this would be the playoff championship. But
all right. There's fantasy football, but then in real football, as it's aligned as a conference, your conference champion isn't redecided in the playoffs. Your conference champion's decided at the end of the regular season.
Let's not act like the Grimace League is a real thing.
Well, if we're gonna play that, it's a.
No, I said it's like fantasy football.
No, it's not a championship game.
Anyway, and then we had Yale, obviously taking care of Youngstown State in that wild game. So they go to Montana State. I would be really surprised if they push Montana State. I think Montana State's defense will take care of business. Montana State's defense is a little better than Youngstown State's defense.
Slightly.
I mean, we could have an all Grimace national championship still.
Could. Then you'd have to really rethink your rules.
Right.
And Jim Poppin brings a good point up. It's Joe and Sean. Does it ever really make sense?
No, probably not.
Can't argue with that, man.
Probably 3/4 of our listener base are like, what are these guys talking about? So that's Hack City Pod.
I think our listener base knows.
Yeah. All right. So you wanted to talk about something about conferences?
Right after he takes a full drink of water.
Timing's everything. Well played, Ben. Well played indeed. Here's the deal. I see all these Big Sky fans dogging on these other conferences, and then I hear Montana fans going, well, they only beat Youngstown by this much, and they just squeaked by UND, and the Montana State game was so long ago. I got news for you, boys. The Big Sky sucked this year. Sucked. If you're mad that Sac State didn't get in the playoffs, I need you to go outside and put some snow on your forehead and cool down the fever. Okay? Like, I heard that. Like, they kept out like Tennessee Tech or the other Ivy League kept out Sacramento State. That was Sac State not getting in is not the problem. I'm sorry. The entirety of the Big Sky has two really good teams, one pretty good team in UC Davis, and that was it. The end. Like, let's stop this game of the Big Sky was so good. Go through Montana's schedule and go through how many ranked games they had. One of them was North Dakota. And by the way, they played, I think, 9 home games, 8 or 9 home games this year. I think it was 8 home games this year. And you have the audacity to poo-poo anybody's wins, period, against ranked teams, especially a team that won 3 ranked games on the road, which Montana doesn't even know what the outside of Wa Grizz looks like. They just live there right now. I mean, what are we doing here? Are you serious? Like, this is a rant, Stealthy Monkey. Like, I think Big Sky fans, you need to step back. And I'm not saying the Big Sky is like going to be garbage forever, but you're dangerously going close to the big fluffy territory right now with how that went, with how this season went. You had like Idaho was down, Eastern Washington was down, and by the way, Eastern Washington almost beat Montana in Wa Grizz. I mean, what are we talking about? It's the weirdest, most lack of self-aware. I would expect it out of Valley fans because we're really full of our conference. And like last year, we had people like that where it's like, no, we weren't. The Valley wasn't that good this year. You had NDSU and SDSU and USD was good, but everybody else was a bucket of muck. So let's not pretend like it's some grave just offense to leave out a Sac State. Like, are we freaking serious right now? I'm not interested in watching the team that couldn't even get to 8 wins in a soft Big Sky this year make it into the playoffs. Like, could they have won? In the argument that I get so tired of is, well, they could have went undefeated against, Tennessee Tech's schedule. Sure. But guess what? They didn't play that schedule. And guess what? They didn't win enough games to get in the tournament. Because if we're going to play that game, then what? Who's stopping? Then where does it end? Well, let's put in a 5-6 or a 5-7 Valley team, because, well, we know they might have won. You can make the argument they'd have gone undefeated against Lehigh's schedule. Like, no, that's nonsense. Like, once you get to that point where you're offended as a major conference, a Missouri Valley team, or you're a Big Sky team, and you are just hurt and wounded because the team didn't get in, I guarantee you there's a game that you should have effing won. Guarantee it. Beat, like, SDSU this year. If we didn't get in, you would have heard zero crying from me. Beat Indiana State. The end. Like, that's, and there'd have been no crying, and there should have been no crying, because that's moronic. Like, every year. I love the Youngstown's guys, but oh my God, don't lose some of these. Like, I think it was last year they didn't make the playoffs and they lost to an NEC team. Like, what are we talking about? Like, don't lose that game and you're in the playoffs. Cry to somebody else. It's, oh my God, there's some bad matchups in the first round. They weren't close. The FBS had a 4-game tournament and 3/4 of the game sucked every time anyway. So what are we? God forbid we give these smaller conferences a chance, but then if the shoe's on the other foot, they'll cry their asses off that, well, there's not enough mid-majors in the NCAA tournament. Well, pick a goddamn team then. How about it? You're in a small conference. You should understand why that works. It's crazy. And Hunter, tell me who said this. If you're not paying attention to your own media, then
it was one of your own fan podcasts.
It was your own fan podcast. I listened to it today. That was said today. Yes. Good. Yeah, God. It's just, if it was crazy. Up to ROT, I almost said his name, just literally said earlier up in the comments here about what I think one of the Big Sky teams would have gone undefeated with Tennessee Tech schedule or whatever. You didn't, though. You could have won. You had games. You had the opportunity. If you're in a big conference and you don't make the playoffs, that is on you so much, because you have every opportunity in the world to win the games that get you into the damn playoffs. That's why I have no sympathy for you. You're the trust fund kid who has the opportunity of driving 15 cars and you wrecked 6 of them. So no, you don't get to go race in the big race because you couldn't keep the damn thing between the lines. Holy shit. Like, and we're going to cry for you. Meanwhile, the Tennessee Techs of the world are trying to hop up a Honda Civic to compete with these supercars. And you're mad that they got in the race over you after you wrecked 7 times. Like, what? Stop it. Just stop it. You be mad at your season. Be mad at the losses. Be mad at your team. Don't be mad because a 10-win team got in. That's so dumb. Sorry.
We restarted the timer. That was the good one.
Good rant.
Is that it by Brendan?
Yeah. Brought to you by Mensch Greenhouse and Flower Shop. Like there's a balance, but you've got to deserve getting in on top of being one of the best teams. You can't just be, well, we know they're pretty good because they lost a bunch of close games to the good teams. Okay, did they win them? No? Okay. They lose one to somebody they shouldn't have? Well, yeah, but that was okay. Then tough shit, dude. Like, you don't deserve to be in. There has to be a factor of deserving. Yeah. It's not a power poll of getting into the playoffs. And for the numbskulls who say, when someone says, well, do it like the NFL, they have less teams in, so it's fine. If we want to play that game, the NFL is almost lets in half of the damn teams in the NFL. That would be a 75-team tournament in the FCS. Like, come on, let's stop. These are nonsensical arguments people make. Like, I get it. It's frustrating that, and you want your conference to have as many teams in. I don't understand. I get why, but I'm not that type of guy. I'm not out here. I want less Valley teams. I don't want to face Valley teams. To me, that feels like the biggest chance for us to lose because they know us. I don't know. Anyways, I'm done this time. I promise.
I took it off, so you're good.
Love it. All right, on to Montana.
I just watched that last night.
Headed to Wagriz. Tough place to play, obviously. And looking at the forecast, I haven't looked at it updated lately, but last time I looked, it was going to be snowing, and probably not as nasty as weather as there was in Brookings last weekend. But I think that obviously I would say that playing in the snow this last weekend is going to help if we have to play in the snow again. And one thing that we saw is that the snow and the wind do not affect Chase's arm. As
Right.
He's just got that rocket arm that it doesn't matter if it's snowy, if it's windy, the ball's going to get there. And I think that is yes, like a gunshot. I'm gonna skip over my comment.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, what I was gonna say is that I think it's a huge advantage for SDSU, honestly, playing in this if it is snowy and a little inclement weather, because the other thing about Chase's arm is it's not affected by the wind and snow. And also, it's a lot harder for defenders to react to throws in the snow and bad weather and bad field conditions, which when the ball's coming that fast, you already have zero time to react. And so I think that's a huge advantage for us. Another way I think it's an advantage is that I think that if you could point out a weakness on this team, we talked about how well it's playing and how confident we are at this point. I think that the only thing that we're leery of is our pass defense, I would say, especially like on giving up big plays in the passing game. And that is hampered with bad field conditions and with snow. And so I think, again, that plays into SDSU's hand a little bit. Now, having said that, obviously Montana has some legit weapons that we're going to have to deal with. And, what I said about, the defense not being able to react as quickly is also going to, exist for our defense too, when they're trying to track down Gilman or Wortham. It's going to be very tough. And I'm looking forward to it, though. I think it's going to be really, really, really fun game.
Yeah. Something that I think is underrated, I think underrated is the size of Chase Mason in cold weather games matters. Because you can have the biggest arm in the world, but the ball's slipping out of your hand because you don't have the biggest hands and you can't get the best grip, because that is part of what affects you with a cold ball in the snow or the rain when it's slick. His size helps him be capable of unleashing his arm still in there. And the receivers did a phenomenal job of not having balls bounce off their hands. They did a great job catching in the weather as well. Ayat's not small, but he's a little smaller. He's 6'1" compared to 6'4", 200 pounds. So I'll be curious to see how that'll go for them. I think it'll be a huge challenge for our defense in weather, just because they do have so many weapons. Just like us, Gilman is a monster. You're going to have to stop him at the line of scrimmage, or he's better than that New Hampshire back. So where that New Hampshire back was getting 12, 14 yards, Gilman's going to pop a couple for 50, 60 and a tutty.
Oh yeah.
In bad weather. That's going to be huge. And like Seth says, we have to be able to make them one dimensional. They'll make some plays throwing the ball, have to live with that and contain Gilman. You got to contain one or the other, really. I don't remember who the defensive coordinator, I just watched a clip of him talking about it. He said the way the game's evolved, I used to think that you have to shut down the run, but really I want to make them one dimensional. If you think about what made NDSU's defense so good, when they were really, that defense was at its peak, or our 2023 defense or the 2022 defense, they forced teams to be one dimensional. Now it happened to be we were really good at shutting down the run, but if you can make it so they can't pass either, and get them to be predictable, that's just as important. in the game. And something that I've not seen mentioned yet, Gaskins was talking to Dan Jackson and yesterday or today. Yeah, today. I listened to that interview, and they had what's his face? The kid of not Kalen DeBoer, not Briggs.
Not Riggs?
Riggs, there it is. Riggs. Yeah, his son. They had him on there,
Riggs,
and he was really impressed with, how studied up Jackson was on Montana. Well, we forget for the last how many years Dan Jackson has been going against Bobby Hauck's offense and has been the defensive coordinator at Idaho and has got a pretty good feel for that team. He's got a pretty good feel for going in there. So I think that's a huge advantage. There's not very many times you get to have someone who was the defensive coordinator facing them in their conference year after year, be your head coach, and be able to prepare you for exactly what it's going to be like. Oh, Jackson was only at Idaho for 1 year. Well, the year he was there, he did all right. He's been there. He understands.
He's pretty aware of the players they have.
He's studied the team. I apologize for the years. I was wrong, but I still think that matters. I do still think that matters.
Yeah, 100%. I think that you mentioned making them one-dimensional. I think we try to stop Gilman, and I think we try to put a lot of pressure on Ayat. I think that Montana's offensive line is suspect, and I think that we can put some pressure on them. Our D-line has been very, very good at getting to the quarterback, and
lots of pulp.
Lots of pulp.
Can you tell?
Got it hanging from your mustache.
Open the mustache. I think we get to Ayat a few times. I think we rattle him, and I think you're going to have to live with some of those big plays. And I think that we've seen that with this defense. And I think, I fully expect that we'll see one or two really big plays. They may go for touchdowns. They may not. But I think it's something that you give up in order to shut them down more frequently in the run game, and try to get to Ayat and make him uncomfortable. On offense, I think we continue to run the ball quite a bit, and I think we see Chase run a little bit. I think we see his legs used. We didn't do that against New Hampshire. Didn't need to. But I think that, the indication is that they were going to wait until Chase was, they wouldn't have to hold anything back with him. And so I would expect that we do see Chase used in the run game a bit in this game.
I also wouldn't count out the fact that if it comes to it, that they use Ayat in the +1 run game as well, because that dude's pretty slippery. So, I mean, they haven't needed to use it. He's been more of a scrambler this year, but that doesn't mean it's not sitting on the back burner. So it's something. I mean, we're going to try and stop the run. That's our guess. I would agree with that, but we got to, account for that guy in the backfield too.
Yeah, he is he's a problem, man. You got to worry about his legs too. And it seems like that's every good quarterback in the FCS nowadays, where guys are going to have to be disciplined when they rush them, and you're going to have to get them on the ground. It's going to be just so huge to win up front, so huge in the pass or run game, especially if it's bad weather and a tough track, because it can get slick out there too, and you don't want you don't want Ayat in the open field able to put a shimmy on a defender in bad footing, who's out in space, who's been covering a receiver. So it's going to be really, God, this is going to be a fun game. I can't wait for this game.
Oh, yeah.
It's a long week.
It's a very long week. One more key, I think, Ayat, I think what he's done really well towards the second half of the season is protect the ball. And I think that our defense has shown that they have the ability to create some turnovers by pressuring the quarterback and disguising some things. Jim says Jalen needs a pick this week, and it can turn the game around. It can make the difference in I can expect it to be a one-score game, honestly. I don't see either team running away with it. And, if we can protect the ball and create a turnover, it could be the difference in the game.
Yeah. For my good buddy Brad, no chocolate milk tonight. Probably for the Scared Money show, I'll have chocolate milk. And ROT, after you ducked the Hack City guys, I don't want no guff from you. Don't
Yeah, what a loser
apologies.
thing to do.
Look at me these sorry. Look at me these fake sorry for swearing. This patronizing crap. We swear plenty. You know exactly what's going on here. But yeah, that's what. Don't give me that after you ducked them. That's you can't do that. So yeah, Garrett Meyer says, "How about Coach E trolling us with the quick screens?" They were an ideal play for how they were playing us in that game and with the conditions of the field. You give that athlete room
100%
to make some moves. We should bring up our sponsor as we're at an hour here, HadrickRanch.com. As I mentioned before, Troy, I got to reach out to you. I'm getting 3 prime ribs from you here, buddy. Hopefully they're the best you got. My mom's picky.
They're all good,
I know they'll be fantastic because Hadrick Ranch is the best beef that you can get. You can get it ordered to your home anywhere in the continental United States, wherever you may be, wherever you're listening to us. You can get yourself some certified ranch to table Angus beef from Hadrick Ranch. You can get anything. You go to their website, www.hadricksranch.com. Pick a beef bundle or give them shoot them a line, shoot them a message, give them a call, tell them exactly what you want. He can hook you up with that as well. You don't have to just do the bundles. I've gotten all sorts of different things from dino ribs to briskets and everything else. So, get yourself some of the best beef you've ever had in your mouth and get yourself some Hadrick Ranch beef off of HadrickRanch.com.
Perfect. Yes, Seth says there is room in the playbook for bubble screens, but we don't want to do on every third down and be too predictable with them. One thing I would like to see, and so Coach E, pay attention, all the Montana coaches, cover your ears.
Yeah, Coach E, listen up. Real ball knower here.
Real quick.
Slug.
Knower of ball.
No, so we do it on a third down when they know that we're going to do it. But what we do is the blocking receiver, instead of blocking, fakes blocks and takes off. The touchdown, easy. So you're welcome.
Throw it to him instead, you're saying.
Yeah.
Or
fake the screen and go deep.
Throw Jack Henry out there.
That'd be fun too.
Double pass.
Yep, double pass off of that baby. He's got the tricks up his sleeves. We saw that little toss reverse that he ran on the in the New Hampshire game that picked up quite a few yards to Jack Smith. That was a lot of fun. So yeah, we'll see. I think he's getting into his bag more now that he's real familiar with what works and what doesn't with his team.
I'm with Jim. Just throw it to Goose.
Yes.
Just hand it to Goose. Give it your 4-yard back and get 4 yards every play.
For real. No, I mean, Josiah Johnson's taken that role pretty well. He's that dude. He runs the ball hard.
Didn't he crack open his face mask this last game? Wasn't that him?
Did he? I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I didn't see that.
Somebody said that in the notes last week or last podcast. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah,
I must have missed it. I listen live and I don't pick up as many things because I'm trying to make people crack sometimes with comments. And we got the FCS Fans Nation boys good after that show.
Yeah,
my God. We got to laugh 3 or 4 times so they're on screen. Couldn't show the comments.
Sugana. He's one of my favorite players.
Sugandis. All right. With that, I think we should probably wrap it up. We're over an hour here. Come watch us on, what night are we doing? A Thursday night?
Apparently.
Thursday night. Scared Money Don't Make Money with unnamed Montana guest. And, we'll be picking all the playoffs games against spread and doing a final preview for the Montana game. Like Jim says, like we always say, go big, go blue, go Jags.